Oh joy! Another sequel to the cinematic masterpiece, Terrifier from 2016. In case you missed out on this life-altering experience, click the link in the description. Your life will never be the same. Welcome to Rapid Movie Recaps, the channel that satisfies your craving for sarcastic, satirical, and distinctly rapid movie summaries. Go ahead, subscribe, like, and turn notifications on. You know you want to. And don't forget to check out our merch below, because nothing says I love movies like wearing it on your chest. So our film starts off with a coroner who's just had a lovely encounter with Art the Clown. Crawling across the floor, all bloodied and bruised, he makes a valiant effort to reach the phone and call 911. But Art, being the charming fella that he is, decides to admire himself in the mirror and use his own blood to write his name. Talk about an ego, am I right? Not one to let a perfectly good reflex hammer go to waste, Art smashes the coroner's skull, peeling it open like a banana to scoop out those oh-so-tasty organs, including the brain and eyes. Because, you know, he's a connoisseur of the macabre. Then it's off to the laundromat for Art, who saunters in covered in blood, as one does. The sleeping employee doesn't even notice. Employee of the month, anyone? Art strips down, tosses his costume in the wash, and kicks back with a newspaper because he's just so cultured. That's when a little girl with clown makeup shows up, proving that Art's not the only one with questionable taste. The girl sidles up to him, and they start playing together, which is just adorable. The employee finally wakes up and spots Art playing with nothing. Was the girl just a figment of his twisted imagination? We're on the edge of our seats, folks. And now, for a delightful turn of events. Art exits the laundromat after giving the employee a complimentary mop handle lobotomy, because who doesn't love a good impalement? Fast forward a year and we meet Sienna Shaw crafting her homemade warrior Halloween costume in her oh-so-cozy candlelit bedroom. The costume is a sentimental masterpiece designed by her late father who tragically lost his battle with the brain tumor. Cue the waterworks. During a heartwarming family dinner, Sienna's mom, Barbara, asked her brother, Jonathan, about his Halloween costume aspirations. Apparently, he's a fan of the classics and wants to dress up as everyone's favorite clown serial killer from the news. Naturally, Sienna and her mom are less than thrilled. After dinner, Sienna and Barbara bond over their concerns about Jonathan's serial killer obsession. Meanwhile, upstairs, little Johnny dives deep into the fascinating world of Art, the clown's previous year's killing spree. Ah, the joys of family bonding. Later that night, Sienna dreams she's in a clown cafe, because who wouldn't want to hang out in a clown-themed establishment? Art the Clown makes an appearance, and everyone's thrilled as he hands out candies, except for Sienna, who's clearly not a fan of free sweets. When it's her turn, Art gives her a suit filled with a pulsating heart and worms. Yum! To top it all off, Art starts mowing down the guests with a submachine gun, sparing Sienna as she tries to escape. Not one to let a party die down, Art whips out a flamethrower and roasts the remaining guests and the guitarist. Just as Art's about to char Sienna to a crisp, she whips out the warrior's blade from her room, shielding herself. Suddenly, she wakes up to find her costume wings ablaze. Despite her efforts, the fire is relentless, so she calls for her mom, who swoops in with a fire extinguisher like the superhero she is. Barbara, understandably upset, scolds Sienna for her candle negligence, but Sienna swears she put them out. After Barbara leaves, Sienna discovers that her father's sword remains untouched by the fire. Meanwhile, in another riveting subplot, Art the Clown and his little clown sidekick enjoy some quality TV time, catching an interview with Vicky, the only survivor from the first movie. But fame comes with a price, and her face is now a gorgeous mosaic of disfigurement. When Vicky reveals that she saw Art off himself, our lovable clown throws a hissy fit and smashes the TV. Drama queen. At school the next day, Jonathan gets the urge to pee and asks to use the restroom. But instead of finding relief, he stumbles upon Art and the little girl engaged in some wholesome, family-friendly fun, playing with a disemboweled possum. They toss the deceased critter at Jonathan, who flees in terror. A teacher investigates the scene, only to discover the poor possum, while the dynamic clown duo makes a clean getaway. Meanwhile, Sienna and her high school pals are busy gossiping about how Vicky, Art's survivor, went full Hulk mode on the talk show host after their interview. As for Jonathan, he gets slapped with a suspension for being the supposed possum perpetrator. Barbara, the mom, is none too pleased. After school, Sienna and her friend Allie hit up the local costume shop for a new set of wings. While Sienna browses, Allie encounters Art, but doesn't give him a second thought, assuming he's just some random dude in costume. Sienna soon spots Art as well, with his signature creepy grin. Freaked out, she rushes to pay for her items, only to realize she's misplaced her bag. Lo and behold, Art swoops in to save the day, dropping the bag on the table. Oh, what a gentleman. As Sienna deals with the cashier, Art decides to stick around, goofing off behind her. The shopkeeper retrieves Sienna's bag, and Art inches closer, poking her, because who doesn't love a little personal space invasion? Sienna's discomfort level is off the charts, and we can't help but feel her pain. Witnessing Art's antics, the shopkeeper finally gives him a good scolding. Sienna, having had enough of this nonsense, hightails it out of there. After her departure, Art does what any self-respecting clown would do. He locks the door, walks up to the shopkeeper, and proceeds to unpack a delightful assortment of tools from his gigantic bag. The shopkeeper, clearly not appreciating Art's show and tell, scolds him again. But Art, never one to take criticism well, smashes a bottle over the poor guy's head and stabs the jagged end into his eye. He then lovingly decapitates the shopkeeper. Talk about customer service. Outside, a mother and her son catch a glimpse of Art carrying the shopkeeper's head, but the kid just thinks it's some fabulous Halloween decor. All the innocence of youth, Sienna makes it home safely and is greeted by her brother, who's got some juicy gossip. He saw Art at school and recognized the little girl from their dad's sketchbook. They flip through the pages, finding not only Art the Clown, but also sketches of his previous year's victims. The piece de resistance is an illustration of Sienna in her warrior costume, triumphantly holding a beast head. Jonathan suggests the drawings are symbolic and that their dad gave Sienna the warrior sword for a reason, but Sienna's not quite ready to buy into that theory. Mom Barbara interrupts their sibling bonding session, breaking the news of Jonathan's suspension for the dead possum debacle. Sienna expresses her disappointment, and as she leaves the room, Jonathan pleads with her to stay home on Halloween night, but Sienna's not one to let fear hold her back. Meanwhile, across town, Art pops by Allie's house. She recognizes him as the charming fellow from the costume shop and assumes he's trick-or-treating. But when she tells him she's all out of candy, Art isn't having it. Allie reopens the door to toss some sweets into his bag, only to discover the blood-soaked tools inside. She retreats indoors, terrified, and watches as Art finally leaves her alone. A few hours later, Allie is busy dolling herself up for Halloween when she hears the sweet symphony of shattering glass. Descending the stairs, she finds her glass door in shambles and Art, the ever-persistent clown, chilling in her kitchen like he owns the place. Allie's heart races and she bolts with Art hot on her heels. Tragically, our favorite psycho catches up to her, slicing her face with a knife before treating her to a lovely makeover, featuring mutilation, skinning, and an assortment of sharp implements. To add insult to injury, Art douses her exposed flesh with bleach and salt, then rips off her face for good measure. Enter Allie's mom, who comes home from work to find her shattered door. Panicking, she rushes to Allie's room and stumbles upon the horror show that is Art and her daughter's mangled remains. In the next scene, Art, ever the gracious host, hands out candy to trick-or-treaters from a festive platter, aka Allie's mom's decapitated head. Some kids complain about the candy being a bit sticky. Kids these days, am I right? Across town, Sienna is enjoying a Halloween party with her friend Brooke, wondering where Allie could be. Brooke, ever the helpful friend, just tells her to live it up. Back at home, Jonathan decides it's time to spill the beans about their dad's symbolic sketches. But Barbara, fed up with her son's morbid obsessions, rips the book to shreds in a fit of rage. Jonathan, feeling understandably hurt, curses at her and earns a slap in return. With nothing left to lose, he storms off. Moments later, Barbara hears some commotion downstairs. Investigating, she finds the family car vandalized and assumes Jonathan is the culprit. But surprise, Jonathan is innocent this time. He's actually outside, discovering a mysterious car parked in front of their house with none other than the clown girl inside. He scurries back to the house, driven by a healthy dose of fear. Back at the party, Brooke slyly tells Sienna that she spiked her drink with Molly. Meanwhile, Sienna gets a call from her mom, who's flipping out over Jonathan's latest masterpiece, a car covered in shaving cream, toilet paper, and eggs. After hanging up, Barbara starts to clean the car, only to find Art lounging inside. As one does, he casually blows her face off with a shotgun. At the party, Sienna spots the little clown girl in the crowd, causing her to freak out and have a full-blown panic attack. Oddly enough, she's the only one who seems to see the pint-sized terror. Back home, Jonathan finds his mom's lifeless body seated at the dining table. Art the Clown, always the gracious host, serves her a heaping helping of mashed potatoes, even taking the time to stuff some into her faceless head. As Jonathan tries to flee, the clown girl blocks his path. He slips past the deadly duo and races upstairs to grab Sienna's sword. But alas, Art catches him and sedates him with a needle. He then grabs the sword, deciding it would make a nice addition to his collection. While all this is happening, Sienna is hitching a ride home with Brooke and her boyfriend Jeff. Sienna gets a call from Jonathan, who claims he's at the abandoned carnival. Spoiler alert, it's the clown girl, doing her best Jonathan impression. Concerned for her brother's safety, Sienna convinces Jeff to drop her off the carnival. Despite Brooke's warnings, Sienna ventures inside. Jeff suggests they should help Sienna search for Jonathan, but Brooke objects, claiming Sienna's brother has been acting weird since their dad died. She even adds that their dad's brain tumor made him schizophrenic. Sienna, undeterred, explores the carnival and receives a text from Jonathan saying he's at the Terrifier, the haunted house attraction. Inside the Terrifier, Jonathan wakes up to find the clown girl looking like she's auditioning for a horror movie. He bolts, as any sane person would. Meanwhile, Jeff decides to take a bathroom break outside, but Art has other plans. He stabs Jeff, breaks the car window, and drags Brooke out. Brooke fights back and escapes into the haunted house, frantically calling Sienna for help. While running, she trips into a bathroom where Art finds her and gives her a taste of his spiked bat. Sienna stumbles upon the scene, finding Brooke's lifeless body and Art lurking nearby. Sienna and Art lock eyes, and she spots Jonathan behind Art. She screams for him to run, hitting Art with a piece of wood. Art shrugs it off and beats her up before going after Jonathan. Sienna, still alive, spots Art's weapon and grabs it. Art, meanwhile, plays cat and mouse with Jonathan until he catches him and slashes his cheek. Sienna swoops in and stabs Art with his own weapon, saving her brother. Injured, Sienna stops to rest. Jonathan apologizes, thinking the clowns lured Sienna there because of their dad's sword. They try to leave, but Art ambushes them and attacks Jonathan. Sienna fights to protect her brother, but Art tosses her aside. She crawls to shield Jonathan, getting hit multiple times. Finally, she grabs a chain and gives Art a taste of his own medicine. She finishes him off by impaling a rod through his head. But surprise, Art's immortal. He rises and strangles Sienna. During their struggle, Jonathan grabs a gun from Art's leg and shoots him, killing him again. Sienna passes out, and Jonathan shakes her awake. She sees her mom telling her she's safe, but Jonathan yells that it's not their mom. Plot twist, it's the clown girl. Sienna snaps out of it, finds herself alone, and searches for her brother. So Sienna finds her brother lying unconscious near Art, and she starts beating Art like it's gonna make a difference. But nope, Art chokes her and tosses her aside. Sienna then sees a portal, because why not? Art sneaks up and stabs her with her dad's sword, sending her down the portal to a water cell in the nightmarish clown cafe, because who doesn't love drowning while creepy people covered in blood ignore you? Back on the surface, Art snacks on Jonathan, who wakes up screaming for Sienna. Suddenly, the sword glows and resurrects Sienna. Magic, right? Healing her wounds, she pops out of the portal like it's nothing and uses the sword to end Art's shenanigans. She decapitates him for good measure, and she and Jonathan share a teary hug. But wait, the little clown girl shows up to grab Art's head and saunters off. In the end credits, Vicky, the sole survivor of the first movie, is in a mental hospital. She's in labor, and surprise, it's Art's head. A nurse walks in and screams, while Vicky giggles and cradles the creepy noggin. So there you have it. You can watch the full movie with the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more totally sincere movie recaps.